On a recent program, we talked about your dismissal from Bard. Could you talk about that and where things stand now?
Well, in February, I received a letter, February 7th, saying that my contract would not be renewed. That's also by way of saying that I don't have tenure there. I've been a contractual employee because I came over from a career in medicine, and I was appointed to an endowed chair back in 1988. And they claim that the non-renewal had to do with financial exigency. I claim that that's a screen for expressing significant hostility to me on the grounds of my very strong, critique of the state of Israel, which the school is very embedded in a number of levels. So we've had it out back and forth. I think now this is past the middle of April. It's been going on for more than 2 months. I think we're probably approaching a stage in which both sides kind of write it off and move on, because some kind of settlement may be worked out, some kind of settlement may not be worked out. But in any case, I don't intend to spend the rest of my life blasting the Bard administration of Bard College for their Zionist persecution of me and the like. And
is it correct that one of the people who evaluated you was a strong Zionist who actually supported the Gaza massacre?
Yeah, of course, he didn't call it a massacre. He called it a just war. He was a Christian Zionist and a professor of religion there who had stated that on a national radio feed. And he also is an ardent player in the battle to stop the divestment campaigns from affecting certain Protestant churches. He's an Anglican, and there's an Anglican Palestinian named Naim Atik, who's a very influential and I think wonderful man. His group, Sabil, as I'm sure you know, is an important group that brings together the Palestinian Christian and liberation community. And this professor's name is Bruce Chilton. He just takes the other view, and he actually goes around the country trying to stop Naim Atik. He himself is an Anglican priest. So this expresses the kind of division within the churches that you often see, and there's no question that this Professor Chilton is a Christian Zionist. Serious question is whether he should have been allowed to be on a committee that evaluated my fitness for rehiring. States explicitly in the faculty handbook that if there's a conflict of interest, the committee person has to recuse himself, which is only fair. I mean, and he didn't do that, and I claim that renders the entire process illegal and invalid.
Did you get some support from students or faculty, alumni?
I've gotten support from students, alumni, some degree. I got a lot of support just from people around the world. I think the school miscalculated badly when they thought they could just push me off into the sunset. I fought back, but what happened was this triggered a latent reserve of real anger and outrage, which I think has to do with the fact that the termination of my contract happened just around the same time that the termination of Israel's destruction of Gaza, and these people at the administration sort of thought everything was okay, but it's anything but okay. I mean, they have created a school in Bard College where there was just about no protest at all. I mean, I was protesting, and I've been away a lot. And so they thought everything was cool, nobody's worried around here, and I think they're just oblivious to just how worried and upset people were. So when they saw that I had been let go, they drew the conclusion that this, which I certainly think is correct, namely that the school was doing this because of my politics. I could go into more detail, but I don't think we need to do that now. But anyhow, they took it up from there and then started writing numerous letters and stories in the press, and it's remarkable how it got around the world. And the school was, I think, quite unhappy with the outcome. They didn't count on this much of a damage to their reputation, because they cultivate a reputation as a very liberal, progressive, a bastion of free speech and good ideals.
Now, in another room at this conference, Norman Finkelstein is speaking, and he himself has been fired a couple times for his views on Israel. But he has a different point of view. Where you talk one state, he says, well, Israel is recognized by the world community. The international consensus is for two states. Why do you differ from him on that question?
Well, we have a different reading of the basic structure of the State of Israel, I suppose. But that doesn't mean we each can't be perceived as, as enemies of the Zionist consensus. I think what obtains there is whether you insist upon a deepening of the debate. It is amazing how the Zionists' power structure in this society doesn't want any kind of debate or discussion. I think because they realize correctly that if they do that, then the cat is out of the bag, so to speak. And once the debate starts, the debate will run against them, because I think they know full well, perhaps not fully consciously, that Israel is a state that commits massive human rights abuses. Norman and I have somewhat different interpretations of that, but we both agree that there should be the right to speak out in a serious critique of the state of Israel. So his serious critique comes up with a two-state solution, but his two-state solution is grounded in extensive historical research, and also in studies that implicate individuals like Alan Dershowitz and the like in the Israeli power structure, various books. He's a very contentious guy, and he's done some really important polemics, but polemics that are grounded in a lot of meticulous research, and that makes him a dangerous figure to the power structure. So yeah, they want to get rid of him, and they also want to get rid of me, because we have the common feature of insisting upon serious radical critique of Israel. Now, our critiques go in different directions, and I don't think that's nearly as important as the fact that they're radical critiques. And I believe that a one-state solution is a strategic goal. I'm not saying it's the only one I would accept. I would accept a good two-state solution. Good two-state solution means, however, sovereignty for the Palestinian state. It means equality amongst the community of nations with the state of Israel. I see that as vanishingly unlikely, likely at this stage, considering what the occupation has done, and it's a long argument, but lots of people have made it. But I also feel. I'm sorry. You want to add another question?
Well, my last question. You spoke at this huge conference in Massachusetts about one state. Could you just briefly say something about it?
Well, that conference was fantastic. It happened at the end of March. It was led by Palestinian American intellectuals, and it showed that this idea of one state is an idea whose time has arrived in a big way. And let me just say, in concluding, that in my view, the necessity for the one-state position is not simply that the two-state solution has been rendered vanishingly likely, but that it's necessary, in my view. I feel this very strongly, that it's necessary that the state of Israel as a Jewish state not continue. This doesn't mean that any single Jewish person needs to be harmed or, lose his rights or her rights and all that. But the idea that you can have a Jewish democratic state in the middle of the Arab world is a terrible idea that will sow warfare and contention indefinitely and on a widening scale, in my view. And I think this is why you have to have no Jewish state. I don't think you should have an Islamic state either, but the problem is you have a Jewish state, which the United States is supporting, and we have to work on that. And, it takes up a whole question of U.S. imperialism, et cetera, et cetera. Norman has a different interpretation of it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.